Hi, this is Desiree.
And this is Sharon.
And this is the Other What podcast. All right. Welcome back. Season 3. This is episode 2 of the Other What podcast. Always happy to be here with my good friend Sharon. Good to see you today, girl. We are going to kind of stretch out a bit or circle back to, as they say, corporate America, talking about yes. Now that I have now that I'm back working, I'll get back to my corporate jargon. Circling back to something we've touched on. I can't remember if it was season 1 or season 2, but chosen family. And we've talked about this kind of outside of this platform as well. But I think with my recent experience of the last 8-9 months of my life, I just want to give this kind of dedicated episode to just, thanking my chosen family, talking about the chosen family and how much this group has really meant to me over the last few months. So how's that sound to you, Sharon?
I love it. I love it. I'm all about the chosen family because I got no family. So that's all I got.
Yeah. All right. So
they are my family. This is great. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's get into it. So I wanted to start back in December, similar to the last episode, but in December, the start of my crisis was also during my birthday month. And I had originally had, Sharon and I had talked about like, Desiree, you should do something for your birthday. And I am so terrible with doing anything for my birthday. I didn't grow up in a family that made birthdays a big deal. So they're not a big deal to me, at least my own. I sometimes will, depending on who I'm with, I will make a big deal about their birthday, but that's also not every person I date. But just, Sharon was like, you got to do something. So we had thought about all these different things, rent a cabin, which is something I did for my 30th that I absolutely loved. It was so much fun. Or go out to dinner. But then when I find all this news out, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do any of that. But I had invited about 10 of us to my house to just kind of have some snacks and just sit around, talk, have some drinks. And and Sharon knows this, like probably the day before I was like this close to just canceling it because I was just so down. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to fake being happy for any amount of time. And I also just didn't want to be a downer to other people because my birthday's so close to Christmas. Everybody's in a good spirit. And I was like, I'm just going to be a downer. I don't want to do it. But, Sharon, of course, was like, no, you do it. Let us celebrate you. Let's do stuff. And, our friend Shelly is also always like, Des, just let yourself be celebrated. So invited, had the group come over. And when I tell you, well, I don't have to tell you, Sharon, because you were there, but to our listeners, we had such a special, magical, beautiful time together. For a few of the people, it was their first time meeting. I had one of my really good friends, Raquel, who I've known since I was 18, 19 years old. There. So we got to tell stories about like our girls in the night days and not prostitution, but the organization. I was like, wait, maybe if somebody has not listened, our Girls in the Night was a Black lesbian organization that threw parties and events and stuff. So
love it so much.
We got to tell stories about that and just like crazy things we were doing back then and how we met and all those fun stories, and then having new friends to kind of tell stories. And then we kind of got unexpectedly deep. We talked about just like life and family, coming out to family, how you are with your family and relationships, how old you were when you came out or how you knew or how you came out. And like for us to have that group together, it was just so unexpected to get to that level of conversation. And for a change in my life, it was one of the most diverse racially groups I've ever had in my place ever. So
I would say it was like 50-50, right? Like 50 white, 50% white, 50% black, and then me. But like, that's okay.
Yeah. It was really nice. And, you know, since I've become friends with Sharon, I have really expanded my friend group in a way that I hadn't necessarily planned, but I wasn't against. But Sharon has brought so many wonderful, strong, smart, beautiful women into my life that it's like I can't not be friends with these amazing people. So thank you, Sharon, for, you know, sharing your friends with me, because now we're all friends. And when I tell you, this chosen family, these new ladies that I've added to my chosen family have like kept me so uplifted. You know, we're on several group texts with, you know, several of the women, and, you know, just encouraging messages or going out for lunch or having a drink or a phone call has just really been great. And, you know, my friends that I've had for many years are also that attentive, but I just didn't expect that from a newer, you know, folks that I've been friends with for, you know, just over a year now, just having them be so compassionate and loving. It's been great. And like even friends with kids, their kids are like super cool with me and like hanging out and doing things and having conversations. And I just wasn't expecting that at this point in my life. So it's really been beautiful.
Isn't it kind of one of those things where people are always like complaining about making friends in their 40s and 50s? Like it doesn't happen. Right. And I feel like it was completely opposite for us. I mean, it started with us, like, we became friends. And then, like even my friend group is expanding and I was not expecting it either. And it's like, Desiree's introduced me, like, come on, Cabbage Town prom.
Yeah.
When we did, look. You expanded my friend group.
Yeah.
With the people you brought to that. And that was, it just makes it so much richer. And I think that there's a lot of fear around going outside of your bubble, but we did it and look how good it happened. Right.
Yeah.
I agree. Your birthday, when people got so vulnerable and so comfortable where we were. And I'm so grateful for that. Like, it was actually kind of amazing when we all went around the room on how old we were when we came out. And the contrast on that too was kind of amazing. And I think that, and there was no shame. Nobody judged. Nobody I think that was also why it was such a safe space to be yourself.
Yeah.
And I think, just gives me chills just thinking about that. And I think that I love connecting with people on that level. And I don't want to waste my time connecting with people when it's all surfacey, right?
Yeah,
I got to do it for work.
Shit.
Yeah, we got to do it at work. We got to do it 8 hours a day. But when it comes to like the relationships I have with my friends, like the people I call my friends, I want there to be more than just that. I will give two more things that Des. I'm going to give a thing. Desiree came to at least 4 or 5 baseball games with the kids. Talk about community, guys. Like, she showed up. She was there in person with her little foldy chair, having a beer with us, watching little 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds play baseball.
It's fun.
And she loved it. And then you would also watch them on online.
Yeah.
That's community. Because I had asked Desiree, like, this is a whole asking for help. I was like, I'm uncomfortable at these baseball games. It's all heteronormative. We're like, you know, there's not really a lot of other like lesbian couples there. And like, you know, it's just awkward for me because this is not my world. These are not my people.
Yeah. And
Desiree coming, oh my God, like that. It's like your sister comes and holds your hand. That's how it felt. Like that's the chosen family that it was like. I was so grateful for that. So grateful for that on so many levels. And then we were inspired. Me and my girlfriend were inspired by another group that we were invited. This woman that we knew, she recently moved to California, so she's not doing it anymore. But she just have potlucks and they were just to celebrate joy. And she would ask a question to the people that come to the potlucks and be like, how can we support you as a community? Right. So we ended up doing something similar just a few weeks ago, but we did it at brunch because we're not late night people anymore.
Yeah.
And we just invited a lot of people over that we knew. It was our first one. So we didn't want to open it up to the world, but enough people to where, we had a great turnout, maybe like 15, 20, 20 people in the apartment. And it was so powerful when we asked that question. We're all going through a really hard time this year with all the politics going on. And how do we support each other? And people, we had, there were little things like one of our friends said, you know what? I'd love to go on a walk with somebody during the week, and I'd love to, another person said, I'd love to help anybody. I have a drill and, hammers and nails, and I can help you do things around the house. Or all the way to I'd love to do more service, activities, actually doing something. We feel so helpless with everything that's going on in our system right now. Doing something actually kind of gives you hope that there's something that we can push forward. It was amazing. And what I love about it is that it's happening. People are talking to each other. They're texting each other more. We're not in our lonely bubbles like we were. And I want to continue that. And that to me is choosing family. That is community. That is what is going to get us through the next 3 years of whatever's going on right now. And it gives me so much joy. It just gives me, this is the family I've always wanted. I think that's kind of what it is. And I never had
intentional. It's intentional.
It's intentional. That's right.
And
that's right.
You're putting in the work just as much as the other people. And, I think sometimes when we're younger, one of us in the friendship may be doing more of the work than another person. You might be the person that's the one that's always reaching out. And sometimes it's okay, well, let me see how long it's going to take for this person to reach out to me. And that's not to say that they're not a good friend or anything, but you just want that. I've even gotten to a place in the last year where I am notorious for everybody who's in my phone. I have their birthday and I have it saved. And so I will send a birthday text on people's birthdays. Now, even though my birthday, I don't really celebrate it, I've just decided I've been doing this for 20 something years. If somebody does not tell me happy birthday, I don't feel like I have to now tell them happy birthday. And I know that's seems really small, but when I tell you the time that it has saved me of just being more intentional about who I'm giving my time to. And it's not that these folks that I've known for 20 something years don't, care about me or are interested in my life. And not that I'm not in theirs, but I'm just being more intentional about who I give my attention to.
Oh, absolutely. I think we're at that age where we can't waste our time on people that aren't going to bring us that joy and that meaningful connection. It's just not worth it anymore. I want to leave the listeners on this little thing on something that Desiree has told me a couple times, which I love, is that not only is this new chosen community so powerful and important to her, but it's also, I've brought in white people into her life. So I think it's such an interesting bridge, right?
Yeah.
We've had so many fun times, but it's so interesting. You've never really hung out with a lot of white people before. And I think once you even said wow, I'm hanging out with white people and they're really nice and they're really cool. And I was like, it's because I introduced you to the right white people.
The right ones, yeah.
Not the shitty ones.
Yeah. And I love that everybody, of the group, they all know it and nobody takes offense to it. They're just hey, that's just reality.
It is.
Because even with this group, we get into some really deep, heavy conversations about race and privilege. And it's still, even though it's a racially diverse group and group from different backgrounds, different upbringings, but we all have very thoughtful and respectful conversations. And like, I absolutely love that so much.
Yeah, that's true. I actually didn't think about that. It is a very respectful group. Like nobody's being a douchebag. Nobody's being an asshole.
Yeah.
We're just genuinely there to celebrate each other. We don't care about all these like differences that you can see. And I appreciate that a lot. I think it helps that we have a lot of therapists and clinical psychologists in our group, by the way.
Yeah, that's true.
Brunch, I was like, there were like 3. Like, that's a very high number of therapists and clinical psychologists.
For a brunch, yeah.
For a brunch, yeah. I think for the next brunch, though, what I want to do is I really want to expand it. Like, there was only one gay man there. I had invited a couple of others, and they couldn't make it. I want it to be a little bit more inclusive. I also want there to be more color and stuff like that, too. So we didn't have that at the last one, unfortunately. So as we expand, I'm hoping that it just gets more diverse and we can do more of that for the community. Cause I really do think that we need it all. Like this family is what's going to get us through all the stuff.
Oh my God. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's take a quick little break and then we'll get back into talking about our chosen families. Cause I still got more stuff to say.
Yeah. In a little bit.
All right, welcome back to season 3, episode 2. We're talking about chosen family, and for this half of the podcast, I wanted to start it off with talking about vulnerability. As many people who have been listening to the podcast know, from the very beginning of us doing this, we've talked about like how hard it is to sometimes be vulnerable and not like I grew up just not needing people. And since I had, this group of friends and even like some of my older friends that I brought into this new friend group as well, it's made me realize that not needing people is not necessarily the flex that I thought it was. It was like, that was kind of my way of protecting myself because I didn't think anybody else could do what I needed done. And I didn't want to be let down. So I've been like doing all this thinking of just like how this new group from new friends and the old friends that I've reconnected with, like how you all have really just changed my mindset on even like what level of vulnerability to get to with people. I've not had really heavy financial conversations with friends before. And now like being unafraid to say, hey, like I am tapped out of my savings, y'all. Or, I can't go out to dinner because I really got to tighten up on this budget, which anybody knows me knows that I hate to be on a budget. So it's been really uplifting to my spirit and just to my growth as a person to feel this new level of vulnerability and an acceptance and it being okay to need people because y'all have just shown up for me in a way that I just cannot have ever imagined that people would be there for me. Even as you said earlier, just not knowing what I needed, but also knowing something was needed, but not really knowing what it was. Like, I just like, thank you so much. It means so much to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Desiree. Yeah, I think we need to take a pause on that one. I mean, you just saying that is a big deal, I bet.
Yeah.
We're here for you, girl. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, there's no doubt. And we'll be continuing to be here for you.
Yeah. And also just feeling like you all can come to me with stuff too. Like you and I have some really, really deep, personal, heavy conversations outside of just the podcast, just the two of us. And like, how special is that we found each other when we did, and all these other new friends, and being able to just like truly let your guard down, not worrying about what anybody's going to think of you or anything, but just really like we are living in our truth in a way, Sharon, that we never have before. You realize
oh my God.
that, right?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Amen. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying so much. I've never felt so comfortable in my own skin. Mm-hmm. And I'm still dealing with a lot of, like, I'm still processing a lot of stuff, just like you.
Yeah.
But like the term that I heard in a podcast from like a long time ago was rugged individualism. And I feel like you were like, I'm an individual. I don't need anybody's help. And it's a very Western way of thinking of like, I got this. I don't need to ask anybody for help. Whereas like, if you look at the Eastern culture, it's all about collectivism. We work as a unit. Even at work, it's like you work as a unit. You're like a hive mind. So it's like two spectrums of it too, right? Like you don't want to be so hive mind that you don't think for yourself, but you also don't want to be so individual that you never ask for help. And it's kind of like finding that balance. And I love that you've kind of come in you've come in from that spectrum, and you're like, no, like being alone is hard.
Yeah.
And it's actually nice having people that you can rely on and that will support you and that you trust. Ooh, that's a big one, right? Yeah. And we have it. We have like a lot of people that would come to our rescue if we needed it, if we called them, right? And I believe that in a heart. I believe that. And like, it kind of floors me when I think about the people in my life that I can count on. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's
beautiful. We are truly lucky. And it's also just a reflection of who we are as individuals and the kind of people that we surround ourselves with and the energy that we put out. We're getting that love that we want. We're getting that family that we want, that support, how we want it to look. That's how we're getting it, because that's how we're putting it out.
Yeah. For our listeners, the question that comes in my mind is there's probably people out there who don't have this, right? Who don't even know what it's like to have this kind of community, or maybe they're like wanting this. They just don't know how to get there. Like, what kind of advice could we give them on that journey of like cultivating this kind of like deep connection?
I love that question, Sharon.
Yeah, it's hard, but
giving yourself a chance and getting outside of your comfort zone. Like, don't just stick to what you know. Venture out, meet some new people, backgrounds that you're maybe not familiar with. Whenever I move to a new city that I don't know people, I get on that meetup.com app or Meetup. Maybe it's not meetup.com, but Meetup. And find groups that like to do the things that I like to do. And I've gone to a few of those events and I've made some friends from that. And even from those events, maybe some I don't make any friends, but I learn a new place, a new area of the city. And then that's something I can go back and explore at a later time. And that's been a great way to meet people. But yeah, you just you got to give yourself the chance. And it can be scary and it can be hard because it's how I felt like with job interviewing. Like, I am so tired of telling my story and, but that's what you're going to have to do to make meaningful connections. You're going to have to get a little vulnerable and share. Now, you don't have to tell your whole life story within the first couple of meetings, but not being afraid to be vulnerable and just putting yourself out there will be something I would say, just give it a shot.
Yeah. I love that. I think for me, it's like, go in with expectations of not like finding your chosen family right off the bat. Like I love what you said. Like, I learned something new. I found a new place to go. Like, you're doing it for the enjoyment of being in that space.
Yeah.
You may or may not meet anybody, but don't put that pressure on yourself that you have to find a chosen family. It will just happen when the universe wants it to happen. I feel like that's what it is. And it might not be the right time, I would also say, like, we were talking about this before about putting energy, the right energy into certain people.
Yeah.
Make sure you understand what your red flags are. And you're like, no, not the friend that I thought this was going to be.
Good
Walk
one.
away and be okay with walking away. You do not have to be everybody's best friend. I mean, that is number one. And on the journey of like cultivating this amazing community, I've had a lot of bad apples. And you've had to, you did have to like cut people out of your life that you thought were going to be a friend, and you spent time with them, but then you pull back. And sometimes you have to invest time to find that, but know what you cannot like tolerate, right? Because you don't want to open up to somebody who's going to be manipulative and there's a lot of that shit out there. And it's scary. It is scary, right? But when you find that person, I think that it is like this kind of like the clouds part. You're like, oh my God, this is what it's like to have a real friend. A real connection with a real friend. We're not just talking about the weather and how our jobs are and being like, bro, let's go get a beer. Like, no, we're actually wanting to have a coffee and be present and want to have conversation with you.
Yeah. One of my friends, recently we had a conversation about, life insurance. What life insurance policy is the best? Should you look into?
Well, you're getting old when you're talking about life insurance policies, Desiree. We know what that means. Oh man. Like, I don't know. Like I love that we can just have conversations about random stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of this. And sometimes with some of the friends that we have, they're talkers and I just listen. I think listening is great. People love to talk about themselves. Just listen. And you can learn so much from somebody by just listening to what they say. And, one friend who we're going to have as a guest here on the podcast soon. So I'm very excited to have her on the call. She was like, she always listens to people and she kind of gauges it as a red flag if they don't ask about you. If they're constantly talking about themselves, there is something going on there. There's a self-esteem issue. There's I don't want to hear from you. I'm all about myself. Like there's something going on there. If they ask about you though, they're genuinely interested in tell me about yourself instead of always being about them. And that's really helped me because I think there's a lot more narcissism and selfishness in this world than we think there is. Because it's kind of hidden away too. And with friends, completely. There are takers and givers. And I am done with takers. Done. 1,000%. So
you made me think of a couple of things, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Oh yeah, please.
Okay. So when we're talking about like friends, one thing that I live by is what value is this person bringing into my life? And what value am I bringing into theirs? What value do I think I'm bringing into theirs? And if I can't list anything on either side, why am I still trying to be friends with this person? Right?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
And I have stopped being friends with people that I've been friends with for 20 years because our values just didn't align anymore. And then it just becomes exhausting. And I don't want to be exhausted from talking to somebody that's supposed to be my friend. You know?
That's right.
Something else that this made me think of is when you were talking about, our friend and asking about somebody versus just telling them about yourself all the time. Tell me your opinion on this. When somebody's telling a story and then you interject in a story that's similar to it or one that is, relatable, I feel like sometimes there's a fine line between I'm telling you this story to reassure you that I'm understanding or I have an idea of how you're feeling versus I'm telling you this story because I'm trying to bring back this attention to me. I sometimes struggle with that, Sharon, because I'm like, do they think that I'm telling this because I want to talk about me because that's not my intention? Do you ever feel like that? It's like, it's a fine line.
Total. I mean, it's kind of like our podcast, right? We interject with our stories, but I think it's the respectfulness that we have with each other about interjecting, right? We know that there's positive intent. There's something around like, oh yeah, Desiree, that's an amazing story. I had a similar experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can share that similar experience. Whereas the way that other people do it is that they just take over the conversation. That's the difference.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We go back and forth. Like I'll tell a story and then you're like, oh yeah, that's a great story. Let me continue on what I was talking about. And it's like, no big deal. The ones that piss me off are the ones that like, they start telling their story and then you just sit back and you're like, well, where was my story?
Right.
Now it's right. You again. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. It's a respectfulness in being able to like do the conversational thing and still feel present. I think that's what it is too. The other person is not present when they're talking about themselves and they derail the conversation.
Oh, good.
That's a big one because they're obviously not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. Yeah. They're in their heads. You know, my ex, I know this is going to be crazy for a lot of our listeners to hear this, but my ex used to tell me that I did not know how to hold a conversation.
Oh my gosh.
And the reason that she did that was one, she was horrible and she wanted to put me down all the time. But it was because she was always in her head thinking about the next thing to say versus listening to me. And she was constantly doing what you're talking about, interrupting me, telling stories about herself, derailing the conversation. She was never present for me.
She was listening to respond.
Exactly. And so then she would, and then she would then do her narcissistic thing and make me feel bad because I was the bad conversationalist, which what the F? No freaking way. Right?
No. Yeah.
But for years, that's what I got. I had no sense of humor. Ha! Oh my God, are you kidding me? And I didn't know how to.
She didn't deserve you, Sharon.
Totally
God damn it.
I know it. And that I know a lot of our listeners are probably like, they have not talked about their divorces. Like we have. Yeah. And we've done that on purpose, guys, because I don't know if I was ready, but we might be ready soon. So that might be coming up in an episode.
We can talk about it. Yeah. Mine, again, we had totally different experiences.
Okay. All right. So
this was good.
This was a great talk. And I think our listeners hopefully got a lot out of it too. And I'm excited for season 3. Like we're already in it. We're in the weeds. And it feels like this is going to be a lot of like the season of connection, Desiree. I think that's what's going to happen here. Yeah. Yeah. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for everybody joining us again on our little journeys. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. This was so great.
Yeah. Take care, y'all. Love you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Other What podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating or review, and share it with your friends. It truly helps us grow and reach more ears. This episode was hosted by Sharon Go and Desiree Jamerson and produced by Andrew Marconi. We'd love to hear from you and build our community. Connect with us directly on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at The Other What to react to something we've said, share your own stories or show ideas, and make suggestions. You can also find all our episodes, read show notes, and shop for exclusive merch that supports the show at our website, theotherwhat.com. The Other What is proudly brought to you by 559 Labs. We'll see you next time.